The fact that you are hearing my voice right now is not a coincidence. I want you to take a deep breath and feel that something extraordinary is about to be revealed, because nothing in life happens by accident. August 28th is not just another date on the calendar. It is a day marked long ago, and those who remain attentive to the signs of heaven will understand what I am saying. For months, even years, some have felt that something is approaching. Some describe it as a restlessness in the heart, others as a strange silence in the middle of daily life, as if the world itself were preparing for a change that no one dares to name aloud. And today, as I speak to you, I want you to know that you are part of a reserved message, a secret that not everyone will hear. Maybe at this moment, you are sitting in your home with your phone or your computer, listening to these words while the sun begins to set. Perhaps the wind comes through your window and you notice that the air feels different, heavier, more charged, as if the sky itself were waiting for you to pay attention. Do you feel it? That vibration is not the product of your imagination. It is a call. It is the beginning of something that will be revealed with force on August 28th. But before continuing, I want to invite you to write a single word in the comments: Amen. Do it not as a routine, but as a declaration of faith. Because every person who writes Amen will join an invisible chain of light, a network that the Virgin herself is raising over the world in these dark days. And I want you to do it now, while your heart beats strong, because that will make you part of this revelation. August 28th did not begin today. Its story comes from much further back. Ancient writings spoke of a date when humanity would receive a clear warning, a kind of bell tolling in the silence to awaken those who slept spiritually. And those who ignore the signs risk getting lost in what is to come. In recent weeks, nature itself has begun to speak. I don't know if you've noticed, skies painted red in places where it had never happened before, birds flying in directions contrary to their normal migration, sudden silences at night, as if creation itself were waiting for an order. These are not random events, they are signs. They are reminders that the time of August 28th is no longer a distant future, but a present that approaches with firm steps. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and listen to the silence around you. If you do it attentively, you will feel that silence is loaded with messages. And in the middle of that silence, the Virgin has begun to speak to many hearts. Some hear whispers, others dream of scenes they don't understand, but all agree on the same thing: something big is coming. And that something is tied to August 28th. I will not yet tell you what will happen on that date, because the moment for full revelation has not yet come. But I do want to give you clues, small pieces of a puzzle that, when completed, will make everything make sense. Have you noticed that the days seem shorter, that night falls differently? Have you felt that conversations around you are filled with fear or uncertainty? Don't ignore it. It is part of the spiritual atmosphere that precedes great events. And as we move forward in this message, I want to invite you to declare in the comments the name of your country. Do it without fear, because each nation will be touched differently on this date. And when you declare your land, it will be as if you were raising a flag before heaven, asking for protection and light for your people. Write your country right now, and you will see how an invisible map of intercession lights up. The Virgin has told us many times that times of confusion are also times of opportunity. What for some will be darkness, for others will be an awakening. And you must decide which side you will be on when August 28th arrives, because that day will be a crossroads, a before and an after. Perhaps you think these words are too intense, that I exaggerate. But let me ask you, hasn't the world been on the brink of collapse more than once? Wars, pandemics, crises, and yet here we are. Isn't it a miracle that you are alive, listening to this right now? No, it's not coincidence. You have been chosen to hear this announcement. Listen carefully. Do not be afraid, because although there will be those who tremble, there will also be those who rise with a strength they never imagined. August 28th will not simply be a day of fear, it will above all be a day of decision. And the Virgin is gathering her children so that they do not face this day alone. That is why I tell you with my heart, subscribe to this channel. I don't say it as an empty strategy, but because here you do not walk alone. Here there is an army rising, an army of the Virgin, and you are part of it. By joining, you will be declaring that you will not be afraid, that you are willing to walk in the light even in the midst of the storm. As I tell you this, imagine Imagine with me an ancient church with candles flickering in the dimness. Outside, the wind blows strong, but inside the flames remain steady, lighting up the faces of those who pray in silence. That is the image of what is happening now. Outside, there is chaos, but those who listen to this message are being sheltered in a spiritual refuge. Share this message. Do it because someone you know needs to hear it. It may be your mother, your brother, a neighbor, or a friend who seems strong on the outside, but cries silently every night. You don't know what they're going through, and these words could be the answer they have been asking heaven for. August 28th is marked, and each day that brings us closer to that date, the spiritual pressure grows stronger. In the next block, I will tell you more about the previous signs, about how they will manifest in families, in the streets, and even within the church itself. But remember this is not a message of fear, but of preparation. The clock keeps ticking, and what is coming in the next few days will change history even more. August 28th is not simply a date written on a calendar. It is a threshold, a crossroads where the personal blends with the collective, where every home, every family, and every nation will feel a unique vibration. What in Block 1 felt like an atmosphere of mystery now begins to take shape. Consequences, echoes of what is about to come, spreading like ripples in the water after a stone falls at the center. Picture your own family for a moment. Think of the people you love, their daily gestures, the little routines that give meaning to your days. Now imagine that something invisible begins to move through their hearts, a feeling of unease that cannot be explained with words. That unease is the prelude of what is coming. August 28th will be like a mirror in which every family sees reflected both its fragility and its hidden strengths. In prayer, I have seen how the Virgin shows scenes of families sitting around tables, some in silence, afraid to speak of what they feel, while others raise their voices, searching for answers. At those tables, there will be tears, but there will also be embraces. Not everyone will react the same. Some will run from fear, others will cling more firmly to faith. And you, listening to this message, will have to be a light in the midst of that confusion. Write in the comments, "I choose the light." Do it now, not as a simple phrase, but as a decision, because August 28th will test exactly this, the ability to choose between being dragged into the darkness of fear or standing firm in the light of faith. Every person who writes, "I choose the light," is leaving a mark, a sign in this spiritual army that the Virgin is raising. Now let us speak of what will occur on a national level. This message is not only for individuals, but for entire peoples. Countries that have distanced themselves from faith will experience stronger tremors, not because God punishes them, but because the foundations they built are fragile and will shake with any wind. And those winds, believe me, will blow with force around August 28th. There will be confused leaders, unable to make clear decisions. There will be people protesting in the streets without fully understanding what they are seeking. And at the same time, there will be small prayer groups hidden in homes, sustaining with their faith what many cannot sustain with their hands. You who are listening can be one of those invisible pillars, and although no one sees it, your prayer will have the power to change the course of what seems inevitable. I want you to declare in the comments, "Virgin Mary, protect my nation." Write it along with the name of your country, because while you do it here, others in different parts of the world will do the same, and that invisible map of intercession will begin to light up like flames in the night. Imagine a globe covered with lights of faith, each one born from a heart that chose not to remain silent. The church will also feel this impact, and I'm not only speaking of physical temples, but of the entire community of believers. August 28th will show who is truly firm in faith and who was only following empty customs. There will be priests who weep in secret, feeling that the flock is scattering, and there will be courageous pastors who lift their voices to remind everyone that we are not alone. You, listening right now, are not a passive spectator. You are part of that living church that will endure the shaking. Share this message now. Do it because perhaps the person who receives it is on the verge of giving up. It may be someone who no longer believes in anything, someone who feels abandoned, someone who thinks their life has no meaning. And your hands in sharing will become the Virgin's hands reaching out to that soul. Never underestimate the power of a small gesture, because it can change a destiny. Many have asked me, will what happens on August 28th be a punishment? And the answer I feel in my heart is clear. It is not a punishment. It is a warning, an opportunity to return. The Virgin does not come to instill terror, but to prepare her children. But preparation is never comfortable. It never has been. It requires silence, prayer, and above all, decision. Imagine a storm approaching. The sky begins to darken. The wind lifts the leaves, and you know that something big is coming. At that moment, you have two options: run aimlessly or find shelter. The message of August 28th is exactly that, an invitation to find the right refuge before the storm breaks. And that refuge is not a physical place. It is a heart set ablaze with faith. I want you to repeat with me softly or within yourself. I am not afraid because I do not walk alone. Say it now. And as you say it, feel that thousands of people in different countries are repeating it too. That unity, though invisible, creates a strength that darkness cannot break. In the hours leading up to August 28th, you will begin to notice strange things, more intense dreams, stronger premonitions, even coincidences that will make you think this cannot be random. Do not ignore these signs. They are like gentle bells preparing the heart for the great toll that will resonate that day. And remember, what is coming will not be easy, but neither will it be impossible to endure, because the Virgin promised that her children will not be alone. And if you are here listening, it is because you are one of those chosen children. Subscribe, because what I will share in the following blocks will be deeper and deeper. Do not let others tell you later. Be part of it from now on. Here we walk together. Here you are not a number. You are a brother, a sister in this spiritual battle. August 28 will mark families, nations, and churches. But what it will mark most will be the heart of each person. And in the next block, I will tell you how the signs will become visible in daily life, in homes, in streets, in the smallest gestures that suddenly will carry a prophetic meaning. The clock keeps ticking, and what is coming is inevitable. Prepare yourself, because we have not yet reached the climax, but we are walking toward it with firm steps. Some expect great signs in the sky, lightning, earthquakes, or wonders visible to all. And yes, those manifestations exist and will come. But the true preparation begins in the ordinary, in the small details many overlook, because the signs that precede August 28th will not always be grand. Sometimes they will appear in moments so simple that only an awakened heart will recognize them. Have you stopped to notice how conversations have changed in your home, in your neighborhood, in your city? Even those who never spoke about God now mention that they feel something strange in the air. People who seemed strong are beginning to confess fears they never shared before. And children, yes, even the smallest ones, suddenly ask questions that seem to come from another world. Why did the sky turn red, Mom? Why did I dream everything was dark and only one light was shining? These are not coincidences. They are gentle bells announcing what is to come, and you, listening to this message, cannot ignore them. In homes, the signs will begin to appear in unexpected ways. Appliances that fail without reason, clocks that seem to stop for a few seconds, lights flickering during prayer. It may seem trivial, but for those who understand, these are reminders that the spiritual dimension is touching the visible. Picture a father who suddenly wakes up in the middle of the night without knowing why. He looks at the clock, 3:10 a.m. He tries to sleep again, but the unease remains. The next day at work, he hears a co-worker say the same thing happened. And in another city, someone else shares the same story. That is not coincidence. It is synchronicity preparing hearts. Write in the comments, "I am awake." Declare it, because August 28th will not find the Virgin's children asleep. They will be alert, even in the smallest things. In the streets, signs will also appear. You may notice people walking faster, faces tense, as if carrying an invisible weight. Markets may be full, yet abundance won't calm anxiety. Sirens will echo in the night more often, and the news, though trying to disguise it, will slip phrases that unsettle. Uncertainty, critical times. What is coming has no precedent. These are not empty headlines. They are echoes of what the Virgin has already warned in silence. Because August 28th will not only be a spiritual event, it will also reflect itself in the daily life of every person. In the church, the signs will become visible during prayer. There will be masses where silence will be so deep that the faithful will feel something invisible moving through the place. Tears will appear suddenly in the middle of worship, not tears of sadness, but of an inexplicable certainty. Something is coming, and there will be priests who, without planning it, will say words that sound prophetic. The Virgin uses those who are available, and in these days she will use many voices, even the least expected. Share this message. Do not keep it just for yourself. Perhaps someone in your family is already seeing these signs, but doesn't know how to interpret them. They might think they are losing their mind, when in reality they are being touched by heaven. By sharing, you will give them the key to understand that they are not alone, that what they feel is part of something much greater. Animals will also sense what is coming. Dogs barking at nothing, birds changing course, cats restless in the middle of the night. Creation itself perceives what humans sometimes deny, and when you see this, do not dismiss it. It will be another confirmation that August 28th approaches with firm steps. Declare in the comments, Virgin Mary, open my eyes to the signs. Do it with faith, because in writing it you will not only proclaim it with words, but also engrave it in your heart. And once spiritual eyes are opened, they never close again. Even in the simplest objects, signs will appear. Bibles falling open to prophetic passages, candles burning faster than normal, rosaries breaking during intense prayer, and those who pay attention will know it is not coincidence, but warning. August 28th will be like a threshold. Until now, we have walked through a corridor full of whispers, but each step brings us closer to the center of that passage. And at the center awaits the great toll, the one that will reveal what many fear to hear. Before continuing, I want you to think, what signs have I seen recently that I didn't know how to interpret? What strange conversations have I overheard? What silences have unsettled me? Write them in the comments if you wish, because in sharing, others will realize they are not alone, that the same things have happened to them, and that confirmation is necessary so that faith does not grow cold. Subscribe, because this channel is not just one among thousands. Here we do not speak to entertain, but to prepare. And if you are listening, it is because the Virgin wants you to remain awake, alert, ready for what is coming. In the next block, I will tell you how these signs will intensify, how they will grow from whispers into shouts, how life itself, from the smallest things to the greatest, will be shaken with undeniable force. The clock keeps ticking, and the prophecy of August 28th approaches like a wave that cannot be stopped. Up until now, the signs seemed like whispers, details only the attentive could notice. But as August 28th approaches, those whispers turn into shouts, into signals impossible to ignore. What once felt like a simple premonition now becomes undeniable realities that will shake homes, cities, and entire nations. Imagine a glass filled to the brim. Each small sign of the previous days was a drop bringing it closer to overflowing. And now, with August 28th at the door, that glass begins to spill over. The spiritual mixes with the material, the invisible becomes visible, and the everyday stops being ordinary to become prophetic. Within families, tensions will intensify. Old wounds thought long healed will reopen. Unexpected arguments will erupt suddenly, and prolonged silences will weigh more than 1,000 words. But this will not be mere coincidence. Each fracture will be like a mirror, revealing what had long been hidden in hearts. August 28th will bring to the surface everything that was concealed. Some will feel they no longer recognize their loved ones. Parents will look at their children and discover fear in their eyes they had never seen before. Wives will see unexpected vulnerability in their husbands. Grandparents, in their silence, will intuit more than all the rest together. For in these times, the elderly will be like spiritual watchmen, able to read the signs others refuse to accept. Write in the comments, my family belongs to the light. Declare it firmly, because even when trials come, that declaration will be a spiritual wall around your home. What is proclaimed in faith has a power that transcends the visible. In the cities, the atmosphere will change. You'll notice it in little things: streets emptier than usual, conversations cut short by awkward silences, strangers' gazes heavy with unspoken questions. A sense of uncertainty will hang over markets, workplaces, and even parks. Some will try to carry on as if nothing is happening, but deep down, they will know something is off. The media unintentionally will become messengers of this tension. Headlines increasingly alarming, reports on strange phenomena, testimonies of people claiming to have seen lights in the sky or heard unexplainable sounds at night. And though experts will scramble to give scientific or banal explanations, hearts are attuned to faith will know this is not mere coincidence. It is heaven's preparation. I want you to declare in the comments the name of your city, along with the phrase, "Lord, protect my land." Do it as a prophetic act. Imagine how, as you write, others in different cities are doing the same. Thousands of lights igniting simultaneously on an invisible map. Nations too will be shaken. August 28 will bring unexpected shifts in politics, in economies, in cultures. Leaders who seemed firm will show weakness. Governments that appeared stable will falter, and entire peoples will begin to question the path they are on. What looked solid will reveal its cracks, but not everything will be chaos. In the midst of instability, a silent force will rise. Prayer groups multiplying in secret, small communities gathering not to complain, but to intercede. And that prayer, though quieter than the world's noise, will prove more powerful than any political speech or human strategy. Write in the comments, "I am in the Virgin's army." Say it with conviction, because this army does not need weapons or visible troops. It needs firm hearts, souls willing to stand while others collapse in despair. The church too will be shaken. There will be temples overflowing with the faithful seeking answers, and others empty because many will not know where to turn. Some priests will doubt, while others, enlightened by the Spirit, will speak with an authority that pierces hearts. Each word, each homily, each prayer will carry prophetic weight in these days. Share this message now. Do it without hesitation. Perhaps someone in your circle is seeing these same signs and thinks they are going crazy. By sharing, you will show them they are not alone, that what they are experiencing is part of a larger plan. Your gesture could save them from surrendering to fear. On a personal level, many will experience more intense spiritual phenomena, dreams that feel more real than waking life, premonitions so strong they make people stop in their tracks, sensations of being watched, not to harm them, but to remind them they are being guided. And some will hear their own name whispered in the solitude of their room, like a gentle call to awaken. August 28th will not be just another day. It will be a watershed moment, and every intensifying sign is a call not to remain indifferent, for indifference will be the worst response. Those who close their eyes to the Virgin's message will find themselves unprotected when the great toll resounds. I want you to repeat out loud, wherever you are, "Virgin Mary, do not let me sleep in indifference." Do it with faith, and you will feel your spirit ignite anew. Subscribe, because what comes in the next blocks will be even stronger. We are going to enter the description of consequences that will not only touch the atmosphere, but will also pierce into the deepest decisions of people's lives. This is not a path to walk alone. Here we walk together under the Mother's mantle. August 28th approaches like an unstoppable wave, and with each passing day the signs will no longer be whispers, but thunderclaps no one can deny. Up to now we've spoken of signs in nature, in families, in cities and in nations, but the place where the prophecy of August 28 will be most clearly felt is inside the human heart, because the greatest battlefield is not outside, it is within you, in that invisible struggle between faith and fear, between trust and despair. Listen closely. What is coming will not be easy, but it will not be impossible either. The Virgin does not abandon us. She comes as a mother to prepare her children for the most decisive moment. And what you are hearing now is not just a story, it is a personal invitation to open your heart and stand firm in faith. In these days, leading up to August 28th, many will experience prayer in a new way. Those who used to pray out of habit will feel words flowing with a force they had never known. And those who had never prayed before will suddenly find themselves with tears in their eyes, whispering prayers they didn't even know by heart. That will be a powerful sign. Prayer becoming refuge, shield, and lamp to guide through the advancing darkness. Write in the comments, "Lord, I trust in you." Do it not as an empty phrase, but as a declaration that marks your spirit, because while you type it here, your heart is being strengthened where no one else can see. Dreams will also become a place where the spiritual reveals itself more intensely. People of all ages will have visions at night. Some will see darkened cities lit by a single light above. Others will dream of bells ringing at midnight, and others will wake with the sensation that the Virgin herself visited them. Do not dismiss those dreams. They will be warnings, but also consolations, reminders that we are not alone. Some will wake startled at 3 a.m. Others will experience such profound peace during sleep that upon waking, they will know they were embraced by heaven. And while while the world may try to give psychological explanations, deep down you will know these are signs, confirmations of what is approaching. Declare in the comments, "My dreams belong to the light." Write it with faith so that even at night your soul remains awake, protected from all confusion. Decisions of faith will also become urgent. People who never spoke about God will begin to ask whether there is still time to turn back to Him. Neighbors, co-workers, family members will suddenly pose questions you never expected. Do you think the world is ending? What should I do to stop feeling so afraid? And there you will be, not to preach a sermon, but to share from your own experience what you heard here, that the Virgin is gathering her children and no one walks alone. But beware, temptations will also be strong. Voices will try to sow doubt. Messages will claim that all this is lies, that there is nothing to expect. And those voices will not only come from outside, you will feel them inside yourself. The weight of unbelief, the fatigue of continuing to believe. That will be the hardest in a battle, not letting faith die in the middle of the storm. Whisper with me, "I will not let my faith die." Say it now, because every time you declare it, you strike darkness with the power of hope. In the days ahead, emotions will intensify. Moments of inexplicable peace will come, as if you were surrounded by light, and the next moment you may feel fear, anxiety, or uncertainty. Do not be alarmed. This is part of the spiritual struggle. What matters is not to be carried away by the current of fear. Share this message. Do it out of love, because maybe someone you know is secretly fighting against those same emotions and doesn't know how to interpret them. Perhaps they think they are losing their mind, when in reality they are being called to awaken. You could be the confirmation they need not to give up. The Virgin asks us for something very concrete: constant prayer. It's not about hours locked away in a temple, but small acts repeated with love. A Lord's Prayer upon waking, a Hail Mary before leaving home, a sigh of faith as you walk down the street. Every prayer is like a glowing stone laid on the dark path we are traveling. And when August 28th comes, those stones will form a safe trail. Write in the comments, "I am in prayer." Do it now, because by declaring it, you not only confirm it to others, you seal it in your own life. August 28th will test not only social or political structures, but the spiritual strength of every heart. And while many will fall into confusion, there will be those who stand firm because they chose prayer over fear, hope over despair. You can be one of them. Subscribe now, because what I will share in the following blocks will help you stay standing. This is not entertainment. It is spiritual preparation. Here you are not a spectator. You are part of a family, an invisible army rising under the Virgin's mantle. In the next block, I will tell you how this inner spiritual battle will reflect itself outward in society, in the streets, in governments, in collective life. For what happens inside always manifests outside. The clock does not stop. And with every passing second, August 28th draws closer, like a storm already felt in the air. You have come this far because your heart knows that what is being announced is not just a story, but a warning that comes from above. In the previous blocks, we have seen how nature, families, nations, and even the inner life of human beings are being shaken. But now it is time to begin lifting little by little the veil that covers the prophecy of August 28th. It is not a single isolated event, but a series of happenings converging on the same day, as if all the pieces of the puzzle were coming together in one moment. On that day, the invisible will become visible, and the secrets that were hidden will be revealed. The Virgin has shown that August 28th will be a day when heaven speaks with power. The signs will be so clear that even unbelievers will have to admit that something extraordinary is happening. No one will need to explain it. It will be felt in the skin, seen in the air, heard in the voice of creation itself. In different places around the world at the same time, unexplainable phenomena will occur. Some will see the sky turn a color never before witnessed. Not red, not violet, not blue, but an indescribable shade, as if the very fabric of the heavens were tearing to reveal eternity. Others will hear bells ringing with no hands to strike them, and many will feel a trembling in their hearts, as if someone were calling them by name. Write in the comments, "Virgin Mary, I am prepared." Do it as an act of surrender, because what is coming will not be easy to process, but those who prepare with humility will not be defeated by fear. August 28th will be a day of revelation, because the hidden will come to light. Secrets within families lies will be exposed, truths in nations will be uncovered, and silences in the church will no longer hold. The Virgin will lift the veil not to condemn, but to show with clarity what has been covered. And listen carefully. On that day, there will be a separation, not a physical one, but a spiritual one. Those who choose the light will feel a new fire in their hearts, an unshakable certainty that they are on the right path. But those who choose to remain in darkness will experience a deep emptiness, a fear they cannot explain. August 28th will be like an invisible line, dividing the lukewarm from the committed, the doubters from the believers. Picture for a moment the silence of a crowded square, suddenly frozen, as if time itself had stopped. No one understands what is happening, but everyone feels the same thing. Heaven is speaking. That will be the atmosphere of August 28th, and while some will run in terror, others will lift their hands to the sky and whisper, "I am here, Mother. Do not leave me." Right now in the comments, I choose the light, because that will be the great decision of that day. It will not be enough to have prayed before. It will not be enough to have listened to messages. You will have to choose in that moment which side you are on. Nations will witness signs that mark them. Some will see dark skies in broad daylight. Others will experience total silence, as if the earth itself had stopped breathing. And still others will feel a strong wind sweeping through the streets without destroying anything, just to remind humanity that even the air obeys heaven. And all of this will happen simultaneously, an unmistakable sign that the entire human race is under the gaze of God. Share this message now. Do it because someone in your family or circle may live through that day without understanding and could fall into despair. Your gesture could mean the difference between them being lost in fear or finding refuge in the light. This is not punishment, it is revelation. August 28th will be the day when people see clearly the difference between what is temporary and what is eternal. Many will realize that everything they built without God crumbles in an instant, while at the same time discovering that what is small, humble, simple, yet built on faith is the only thing that stands firm. Yes, there will be tears, but there will also be joy, because the Virgin does not come to destroy, but to awaken. And awakening always hurts, but it also brings new life. That will be the true meaning of this day. A bell toll that shakes, unsettles, but saves. The clock keeps ticking, and in the next blocks we will go even deeper into the description of this prophecy until we reach the climax where it will be revealed in all its magnitude. But hear this, nothing will ever be the same after August 28th. The veil continues to lift, and with every step the vision grows clearer. We have already said that August 28th will not be punishment, but revelation. But what does that truly mean? It means that what was hidden will be manifested with an intensity no one can deny. There will be no room for lukewarm doubts. The truth will present itself everywhere, and hearts will be confronted directly. On that day, humanity will feel a profound trembling, as if the heart of the world itself were beating louder than normal. Some will say it is a natural phenomenon, others will dismiss it as suggestion. But those with the eyes of faith will know heaven itself is touching the earth. Testimonies will come from every corner, small villages, immense cities, forgotten towns, bustling capitals. All will agree on one thing: the atmosphere changed. The air will feel heavier, yet more alive. Colors will seem different, sounds more intense. It will be as though the veil separating the visible from the invisible had torn open for a few hours. Write in the comments, "Lord, open my eyes." Do it with faith, for this is the key. Those who sincerely ask to see will see. Those who close their eyes out of fear will be trapped in the darkness of their own disbelief. One of the great signs will be silence. In some places, everything will suddenly stop. Birds will cease to sing. The wind will halt. Even the city's noises will fade for a few moments. For some, that silence will be terrifying. For others, it will feel like an invisible embrace, reminding them that God is near. The Virgin has shown that in that silence, many will hear her voice within their hearts, not with audible words, but with a certainty so strong it cannot be denied. Some will receive comfort, others warnings, others a call to radically change their lives. That will be one of the most transcendent moments of August 28th, the mother's voice speaking directly to the soul. Right now in the comments, speak, Mother, your child is listening. Declare it so that your heart will be ready to receive whatever she wishes to tell you on that day. There will also be visible signs in the sky. They will not be the same everywhere, but each nation will receive a clear reminder. In some places, places, lights will move mysteriously. In others, the heavens will turn to a strange shade. In still others, storms will suddenly break to reveal beams of sunlight shining precisely where groups of prayer are gathered. The sky itself will confirm what the Virgin has long been announcing. Tears will fall, not only out of fear but recognition. Many will collapse to their knees without knowing why, and when they rise, they will know they are no longer the same. Others will try to run, but there will be no place to hide from the voice within that confronts them. August 28th will be a mirror. Each one will see inside it what they carry within. Share this message. Do it, because perhaps someone you love will live through that day unprepared. They might think it madness, might sink into panic, and your sharing could be the key for them to recognize that they are not alone, that what they feel is part of a divine plan. The impact on families will be profound. Gathered under one roof, some will cry, others will pray, others will sit speechless. But all will know that what they are experiencing is not a mere natural occurrence. It will be a moment where unity or division becomes more evident than ever. Lukewarm homes will be exposed. Burning homes will shine brighter. Declare in the comments, "My house will serve the light," for what is proclaimed today in faith will be fulfilled tomorrow in blessing. In nations, governments will be paralyzed. There will be attempts at explanations, hurried announcements, speeches that convince no one, because what will be lived has no sufficient scientific explanation. And that void of answers will be filled by the inner certainty of millions of hearts. Heaven has spoken. August 28th will mark history as a before and after. No one will be able to say, "I saw nothing, I heard nothing." Everyone in one way or another will be reached. The difference will be in the response, and therein will lie the true judgment, not in what happens outside, but in what each heart decides within. Subscribe, because in the next blocks the revelation will become even more intense. We are walking toward the climax, toward the full unveiling of the prophecy, and you do not want to stop halfway. Here you do not walk alone. You walk under the Virgin's mantle, alongside thousands who, like you, are awakening. The clock continues to tick. The great bell is about to sound. What comes next will be so clear, so powerful, that there will be no turning back. Prepare yourself. The climax is near. We now arrive at a decisive point. Everything that until now was foreshadowing, shadow, and preparation begins to take on a clear form of revelation. August 28th is no longer just a marked date. It is the day when what was hidden will manifest undeniably. The veil continues to lift, and what is glimpsed behind it carries the power to change everything. The Virgin's messages have been constant throughout history, but seldom has humanity needed to listen as urgently as now. And what will occur on that day will not be symbolic. It will be real, a spiritual shock that touches every person in a unique way. No one will be able to say, "I didn't notice," because August 28th will be impossible to ignore. The Virgin has shown that at dawn on that day, something will begin to be felt in the atmosphere. It will be like an invisible vibration running across the earth. The air will feel heavier, yet at the same time more alive. Those who pray in those hours will know immediately they are entering a sacred moment, and those asleep in indifference will feel a restlessness they cannot explain. Write in the comments, "Virgin Mary, awaken me to your light." Do it now as an act of faith, so that you will not be surprised in the darkness of indifference. Around midday, the signs will become visible. In many places, the sky will change color suddenly. It will not be an eclipse nor a meteorological event. It will be something different, something science cannot explain. Some will say it is a strange filter in the atmosphere, but hearts attentive to heaven will know it is the sky itself declaring that the hour has come. At that moment, multitudes will fall silent. People walking down streets will stop. Cars will stall in traffic. Even animals will freeze. It will be as though creation itself pauses for an instant to listen to heaven. And then the most extraordinary thing will occur. Each person, no matter their age, culture, or nation, will be confronted with themselves. They will see within as if gazing into a spiritual mirror. August 28th will bring an illumination of conscience. No one will escape it. Intentions of the heart, unconfessed errors, forgotten acts of love, all will be revealed. Each will see their life as they have never seen it before. Write in the comments, "Lord, show me the truth of my heart," because that will be the great experience of the day. Truth unveiled, without masks, without excuses. And though painful for many, it will also be an opportunity of grace. Homes Homes will be filled with tears. Some will cry in fear, others in repentance, others in joy, for finally feeling God alive and near. Families will embrace, some will ask forgiveness aloud, others will remain silent, processing what they just experienced. Nations will also be confronted. It will be a day when structures of power are exposed. Hidden corruption will come to light. Long-held lies will be unmasked, and leaders thought untouchable will be shamed. Not because anyone accuses them, but because truth itself will be impossible to cover. Share this message because someone close to you needs to know this before it happens. Maybe your brother, your mother, your closest friend is living in lukewarmness or indifference, and if they face August 28th unprepared, despair may overtake them. Your gesture may save a soul. The church will not escape this revelation. August 28th will also be a mirror for her. In some temples, crowds will gather weeping, seeking comfort. In others, silence will reveal that faith had long since burned out. Some priests will feel the heavy weight of realizing they have not been faithful to their call, while others will receive a special grace to sustain multitudes. August 28th will, in short, be a day of inner judgment. Not the final judgment, but a preview, a clear warning of what is at stake. It will be heaven's voice reminding us time is not infinite. The clock keeps ticking. Write in the comments, I rise in the light. Do it now, because that decision cannot wait until August 28th. It begins today, in this very moment. Testimonies of the day will spread worldwide. People who never spoke of faith will share what they saw, what they felt, what they heard deep in their hearts. And though some will try to ridicule them, nothing will erase what they lived. It will be so real, so powerful, that even the most skeptical will be left silent. Subscribe, because in the next blocks, we will enter directly into the climax. We are one step away from the full revelation of what the Virgin announced for August 28th. Don't stay behind, because what comes next is the most decisive of all. The clock is ticking, and the next block will take us to the threshold of the climax, where the prophecy will be revealed in all its magnitude. The moment has arrived. Everything whispered in shadows, everything hinted with tenderness and urgency by the mother, now becomes clear. August 28th is no longer a prophecy, it is presence. It is no longer rumor, it is heaven touching earth. And you are inside this moment. From dawn, the vibration was felt. By midday, skies shifted in ways no one could explain. But as evening falls, the undeniable takes place. The atmosphere grows heavy yet luminous, as if the very air is charged with a light that does not hurt the eyes but pierces the soul. Suddenly, total silence descends on plazas, homes, churches, hospitals, markets. No engines, no birds, no murmurs, only silence. A silence alive, a silence that speaks, and within that silence, 3 tolls of a bell echo in the heart of the world. Not from any tower, but from the soul itself. Each toll carries a call. First toll, return. Return to your origin, to the faith of your childhood, to the first love you abandoned. Whoever hears this remembers a moment of purity, a mother's embrace, a grandparent's prayer, the first time they felt God near. Many collapse to their knees without knowing why. Old tears fall, cleansing the soul. Second toll, repair. Mend what is broken. Ask for forgiveness. Forgive. Restore what you damaged with actions or omissions. Hardened faces soften. Estranged siblings meet each other's eyes. Marriages on the edge clasp hands again. Neighbors long divided draw close, and secretly, hearts that never dared speak to God whisper, I'm sorry. Third toll, remain. Stay in the light. Do not return to lukewarmness. Do not hide. Do not let go of the mother's hand. This third call is a seal. Whoever embraces it feels a firm peace, like a rock in the crashing waves. Write in the comments, I return, I repair, and I remain. Write it with your name and your nation. Declare your land. Let the map of heaven see your flame. Then the heavens open. Not with thunder, not as spectacle, but as an immense embrace spanning everything. In the sky appears a shape many try to name. Some see an outstretched mantle, others a radiant cross that does not condemn but enfolds. Some only see pure light, but all perceive the same. The mother is here, not in one place alone, but over all, as if every roof were her Nazareth. And within that opening of the heavens, the illumination occurs. Not an external vision, but truth within. Each person sees themselves as God sees them, not with disdain or with flattery, but with mercy that wounds to heal. Hidden sins surface, not to shame, but to surrender. Forgotten acts of love shine, not to glorify, but to remind that the path was always there. An entire life passes in an instant. Intentions, words, silences, deeds. There are no masks, no excuses, only truth. And truth, when embraced, sets free. Type in the comments, "Lord, I accept your truth." Say it simply like a child. The heart's door opens with words small yet brave. In countless homes, the same unfolds. A son asks his father's forgiveness. A mother forgives the child who left. A grandmother prays silently, and her prayer covers the rest like a warm blanket. In hospitals, trembling hands trace the sign of the cross. In prisons, sincere tears turn cells into chapels. In barracks, soldiers pause and look heavenward. In schools, chatter stops, and teachers and students breathe in unison. For one instant, the whole world prays, even those who don't know they are praying. And in the church, in every church on earth, from modern catacombs to cathedrals, the doors swing open. No one pushes them, they open. The air flowing in smells of wax and fresh bread. Tired priests find new voice. Religious sisters rediscover fidelity. Lay people who thought faith was routine discover it is life. Quiet lines form for confession. Where none exist, corners of sincerity appear. No lists, no protocols, only thirst. Share this message, not for strategy, but for charity. Somewhere, someone is trembling and needs a word. Your sharing can be the bridge between their fear and peace. Nations, too, are laid bare. Powers ruling from shadows are exposed. Hidden documents appear as if an unseen hand swept away the dust. News channels cannot contain the avalanche of truth. There is no time for debate. Falsehood collapses under its own weight. Peoples look at each other with an ancient question on their lips. Now, what do we choose? For here is the heart of the climax. Two roads, not punishment, choice made clear. The road of light, humility, reparation, obedience to good. Those who choose it receive a gentle seal, a small flame kindled within, upon the forehead of the soul. Not seen with bodily eyes, but recognized in a clear gaze, a steady step, a peace that remains after tears. The road of shadow, not glamour nor power. It is pride disguised as reason, cynicism, mockery as defense. Those who choose it feel a deep emptiness nothing fills, a restless hurry without destination, an inner noise without end. There is no punishment, there is consequence. Absence of light hurts. Right now, I choose the light. Write it 3 times if needed. Let your heart know it. Let heaven see it. Let earth hear it. In some places, crowds raise rosaries. In others, hands join in silence. Elsewhere, only a sigh, mother, and it is enough. Enough because on this day, grace overflows like a river breaking its banks. Where it was dry, flowers bloom. Where thorns grew, wheat rises. Where night reigned, dawn is reborn not by the sun but by the Spirit. The Virgin speaks within. Not sermons but 3 phrases each soul understands uniquely. Return to the Father. Take my hand. Do not let go of the light. Whoever hears them understands everything. Nothing more is needed. Subscribe, because here you do not walk alone. Here the Mother gathers her army, invisible yet real. Here we pray for your home, your city, your nation. Join us, and if you are already here, remain. Common signs repeat across countries, forming an alphabet of heaven. A breeze through closed windows, the scent of bread where no bread is baking, the sudden recall of a scripture verse not read since childhood, an embrace healing years of distance, a song heard though no speakers play it, bells without towers, light without source, peace without reason, and alongside these signs, the struggle. For while light pours forth, shadow thrashes. Confusion in media, mockery, sarcasm, labels, fanatics, fools. Do not be surprised. The Mother already taught us, when light is born, Herod trembles. Stay calm, breathe, say her name again. The storm makes noise, love remains. Declare, my house remains in the light, and write your city. Let your comment be a candle lit in the world's night. In secret, a gentle universal miracle unfolds. Forgiveness. People estranged for years send simple words. I'm sorry, thank you, I'm here, I'll wait. Bridges. The Mother builds bridges. That is prophecy at its highest point. Not spectacle to impress, but a bridge to save. And yet the climax does not end with awe. It carries a mission. The light received must be guarded. As the day ends, as skies slowly veil themselves again, and sounds return, the birds, the engines, the footsteps, those who chose the light keep one certainty: something changed forever. They cannot return to before. They must not. Share this message before the day ends, do not postpone good. Someone has waited years for these words, and today, at last, they are here. The climax has been revealed. Illumination, truth, the division of paths, the seal of light, the mission. One thing remains: how to live from tomorrow onward. What to do with what we saw, how to guard the flame, how to protect the family, what concrete steps must follow. The clock keeps ticking, and the conclusion, with the clear instructions to preserve the light and walk together, I will give you when you ask. The day has come, the bell has sounded, and the climax has laid bare what was hidden. Now the great question is not what happened, but what will I do with what I received? For the true purpose of the prophecy is not to frighten, nor merely to astonish, it is to transform. And if your heart was touched, if you saw the light, if you were confronted with truth, then this message cannot remain only a memory. It must become a way of life. The Virgin did not reveal all this so we would return to routine as if nothing had happened. She revealed it so we would make concrete decisions. Listen carefully, because these are like a simple manual for guarding the flame that was lit on August 28th. 1. Daily prayer, your shelter, always. The world will continue its noise, but you must preserve your silence. Even 5 minutes a day, set apart only for God, will keep your flame alive. A simple prayer, even a sigh from the heart, is enough to keep the fire burning. It's not about quantity, but fidelity. Write in the comments, I am in daily prayer. Let it be your public commitment, your way of telling heaven and earth, this grace will not die in me. 2. Protecting the home. August 28th showed us that homes can be places of unity or division. Now it is up to you to decide what kind of home you will keep. Place in a visible corner a Bible opened, a rosary, a blessed candle. Make your home a spiritual refuge. Don't wait for others to do it. Start today with whatever you have. Declare in the comments, my house belongs to the Virgin Mary. 3. Personal consecration. What you lived that day was a preview of final judgment, but also a gift. There is still time. Consecrate yourself to the Virgin. Give her your life, your fears, your dreams. It is not a complicated rite. Simply say from the heart, Mother, I am all yours. That sincere offering will give you strength when the next storm arrives. 4. Repairing wounds. August 28th brought tears and reconciliations. Don't let those emotions fade away. Take real steps. Ask forgiveness if needed. Forgive those who hurt you. Return what is not yours. Speak to those you've avoided. Every act of reparation is a stone laid in the bridge toward the light. Write in the comments, today I repair with love. 5. Community, never walk alone. The grace of August 28th was not individual, it was collective. Heaven spoke to all at once. That means you cannot isolate yourself. Find a prayer group, a brother or sister in faith, someone to share with. A fire dies if it stands alone, but when joined to others, it burns stronger. Share this message, not from obligation, but love. The Virgin's army must keep growing. Someone is waiting for your invitation not to walk alone. 6. Mission, carry the light to others. It is not enough to guard the flame in secret. Now you are a bearer of light. That means announcing, even with small gestures, a word of comfort, a smile, a prayer for someone in need. You don't need to preach in the streets or give speeches. It is enough to live so that others say, there's something different about you. That difference is the Virgin shining through your life. Write in the comments, I am a bearer of light. August 28th will be remembered as the day heaven spoke and humanity was confronted with truth. But the most important part was not what we saw outside, but what happened within. For the prophecy was not given to terrify, but to awaken. And now the clock keeps ticking. We don't know when another bell this strong will sound, but we do know that every day counts. You cannot postpone conversion, cannot delay reconciliation, cannot hide your faith. Today is the day. Now is the moment. The Virgin summed it up in 3 simple phrases that carry the whole message. Return to the Father. Take my hand. Do not let go of the light. If you keep these words in your heart, you will be ready for whatever comes, whenever it comes. Subscribe now, because this channel is a refuge in the storm. Here you do not walk alone. Here an army prays with you, suffers with you, rejoices with you. Here the Virgin gathers her children so that no soul is abandoned. Share this message before you leave. Do it because someone, maybe very close to you, is about to give up. Your gesture can be the bridge that saves them. And never forget, August 28th was not the end. It was a beginning, a wake-up call, a bell. And what comes in the days ahead ahead will continue shaping history because the clock keeps ticking and heaven still has much to say.